Hi guys, welcome back to Only Friends.
Hello.
Today we are going to be going through our college experiences, and Hera's going to be talking more about her dorm experience and my experience through COVID transitioning into college.
Yep.
So first we're going to start off with our peaks and pits, and do you want to start, Hera?
Yeah. Okay. My pits for the week have been that I was sick for 11 days, which are we surprised? Because I was sick last time too. It happens. And then final exams, final seasons is never fun. And then I'm broke as heck. My bank notified me saying that my bank account was too low, which means this whole winter break I have to work.
Especially when it's winter break time, because it's like
you have time to work. So you have to work. And I'm like, way to call me broke. You didn't have to email me and be like, hey, you're broke, fix it. But whatever, it's fine. And then my peaks are that final exams are over.
Let's go.
I passed all my classes, and it's my hardest semester of pharmacy school. And then I can finally sleep as much as I want.
That's the best feeling.
The best. I love it.
I love that about you. I'm so happy we're literally growing in life together. My pit is that I have like so many assignments due this last week of finals, and I feel like I kind of waited too long to do some assignments, but I'm like now over here like literally like rushing to finish it, and it's like not the best feeling. But I wouldn't say it's much of a pit because it does motivate me to like finish. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But another pit of mine would be like my self-care has just been out of the roof. Like I used to go to Hera and talk to her about like how much self-care is like
she did important. So much.
I like face, everything, nails, everything, like hair.
She was on it.
Yeah. And this week I'm just like, you know what? I get like probably this is why my hair is red.
She was going through it.
Oh yeah, I'm red now. Or my hair is red now.
She just loves Maryville that much.
I love Maryville. But yeah, that would be my pit. My peak is, this is a big peak of mine. Although I finished, or I'm almost done with like all my classes, my biggest like peak is that I finished my finance class. I finished with a B. It's like in the middle, like a good B. And truly that's all I needed, because Hera knows how much I've been struggling with finance, and I'm really good with accounting and like all that managerial accounting, but finance, no.
And I'm no help. Like I only know medical stuff. So
and I know like many of you guys watching probably know that I was like literally talking about how I want to just pass finance and be done with it. So that's my big peak.
And she did it. Yes.
But now we're going to be transitioning into our topic for today, which is about our college experience. So first off, we're going to start off with Hera and her college dorm experience.
Yeah, so I'm going to like backtrack a little bit going into college. I started before COVID. So I had one normal semester before COVID started. And then like, we continued school as always, but I started out as a commuter at a university that requires housing. So everyone lived on campus, and there was maybe like 3 commuters in my whole class. And my class was maybe 100 people. So like everyone was always together living on campus. And our campus literally has 3 floors where all the freshmen lived. So
it's like, a pretty small university compared to Maryville.
It's tiny. And so all of us are in the same class, but everyone is always hanging out. They're going to the parties. They're staying up all night in the study room studying. Meanwhile, I was always at home. So I definitely had that feel of like struggling to make friends, fitting in. And it was definitely a big struggle my first year. And then during that first year, I actually sat in a presentation where one of the older pharmacy students was like, one of the things she had said was, be uncomfortable now so you can be comfortable later. And she said that, and I ran with it.
I wish somebody told me that in college, because I would have taken that and used it all throughout.
And that's what I've done. Like every single decision I've made that has put me out of my comfort zone has been because of that one phrase. And so since then, like my freshman year, by the end of it, I was like, I need to move on campus. I have no friends. I don't know how to talk to people. I'm so introverted. I was so scared.
Yeah.
So I moved on to campus, and I literally kid you not, it was life-changing.
Really?
Like, my friends that I had my freshman, sophomore year and the friends I have now are so different. And if you had told me that those were going to be my friends later on, I would have been like, I'm never going to talk to them. But now they're my bestest friends, and I can't imagine college without them. But really, like, when they say like living on campus is like so important for the college experience, I feel like for the younger years, it definitely is, because you're always in that space with those people. Like, all of us were pharmacy students for the most part, so it was really nice that it's like, okay, if I'm studying for an anatomy exam, you best believe everyone down the hall is also studying for the same anatomy exam. So we're all kind of like struggling together, and then you kind of get that time to communicate with everyone and like start talking about, hey, like, how'd that exam go? Or, oh my God, I can't believe that teacher would ask us that. And then you start like making friends in that way. But definitely my sophomore year was all through COVID too, which I know you'll talk about a little bit more. But
did you like struggle with anyone, like females, or just like have trouble making like girlfriends?
I will say yes. So my like high school experience was always people in my community. So now I'm at this university that has literally like no Muslim people that I was used to being friends with, like no one Pakistani. There was maybe like 2 Muslims in my entire class, 3 Muslims. So it was like out of my comfort zone. And so I stuck to one of my friends that I actually knew from like high school and stuff. And like we were all really good, but roommate problems are very natural when it comes to university. I feel like every year there's always roommate problems.
But you learn from it. You
learn.
And it's a college experience. Because if college is actually smooth for you, you're blessed. Like, you're actually blessed. Because we've been through like so much, and it's like, wow, this is the college experience you get.
Yeah. And COVID definitely, like, on campus, COVID really just ruined a lot of things. And I think that year was when I got into the most problems, because we're all trying to hang out, but the university has rules of, okay, how many people can be in a room? You have to have a mask on. Like,
all these constrictions.
So many constrictions. And it was just, and then there's difference of opinions and beliefs. So like, I mean, I was very safe with COVID, but at the same time, like, there were certain groups of friends that like I would want to hang out with that I knew we only hung out with each other. So I would branch out and start making other friends versus like, say, my roommates, we only hung out with each other. So like I was exposing them to COVID. So there was this big whole like spiel, and like you get into disagreements, and it's very natural. So I actually ended up moving out my first semester living on campus because I was having roommate problems. Again, natural part of the process. We're all good now, so it's cool. But yeah, COVID definitely ruined a lot of that. But we still tried to like social distance and like
make friendships. And kind of have that college experience with like, although we were dealing with the pandemic, like we try to normalize like as much as the college experience.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I got really, really close to my roommates during that time because we were constantly hanging out with each other just because we lived together, and it was through COVID. So like we got really close, but then I ended up getting COVID. So it definitely like,
oh, that was such a crazy experience.
That was bad.
Having COVID in your dorm at college is actually one
terrifying.
Of the hardest things I've ever seen Hera go through.
I was like crying all the time because you're so sick, and then you're in
limited to stuff too. Like, it's like
you couldn't leave. And obviously, like, at that time, this was 2020 when I got COVID. It was the end of 2020, so like the lockdown is still like halfway there, and like they sent me to the first floor, and they sent me to a whole new room, and it was like this empty room, and they said you get one cart to take all of your belongings, and you have to stay there for 10 to 14 days. So I'm like carting all of my stuff down and like trying to make arrangements, and then you're super sick during it, and then like obviously like the roommates are stressing because they potentially had COVID, but also at this point in time, everyone in my university got COVID. All of the COVID rooms were full. They started quarantining people in their own rooms. Like, it was a wreck, but it was also because it was around Halloween. People want to party.
Hers was more like when COVID actually was like becoming a thing. Whereas mine, like, there were a few months before I had to go to college, and I knew like, oh, we're gonna have all this like COVID restrictions, like we're gonna have everything planned out. And I think Maryville did like a really good job.
Because you came in and they already had everything ready, set. They had the rules ready. Go.
With her school, it was like she was kind of working it.
Yeah, it was. We went from So like first semester was normal, second semester it was, I literally remember March 13th,
Yeah.
we were all hanging out, and all of a sudden the news is going crazy talking about there's going to be a lockdown for 2 weeks, everything's going to shut down, and we were like, oh my god, like it's spring break, like is this going to go longer? And then we just never ended up coming back. It was just everything went online, and they were like, we're online for the rest of the semester. So now we're trying to navigate courses and trying to figure out how do we go from everything to like nothing.
Just nothing, yeah. Transitioning into my experience throughout transitioning from high school to college, it was actually like probably one of an iconic moment in my life. Like I was one of those kids that was like, we were out of school, or we got out of school March, she said 13th, and I was like, what is happening? Like we're gonna be coming back. It's senior year of high school. Mind you, I've been doing this thing for 12 years. I'm ready to graduate. I'm ready for prom. I'm ready for all the senior activities. Let me tell you, no prom, got my prom dress, none of that happened. But luckily, we were like blessed enough to get a graduation.
Was it your graduation over the summer though?
Yeah, my graduation was over the summer. It got extended into like moreover like July. Yeah, and that was just because we were like just working through everything, trying to get like adjusted to like having a graduation. But I remember around that time, I was like, I don't even think we're gonna have it. Like everything was getting canceled, like our senior activities. Like I really didn't get that senior experience, but I'm happy I had a graduation.
Yeah.
Because even though our graduation was pretty small, it was like, and we had like limits to tickets. So
right.
like we could only bring like our closest people to us, but we had like chairs that were like 6 feet apart, and we all had masks on. The only time we could take masks off were when we were going up on the stage, and majority of the time like people didn't even take it off. But I mean, it's like an iconic moment in life, you know, like, oh my gosh, I graduated during a pandemic and I have all these memories. Like, you can tell in the future to like your kids and friends and everyone. So I think it was just like a really, really weird, but like, it was a moment.
It was like one for the history books.
Yeah.
Like that stuff that you'd read about, but it's like we lived through it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because nobody was expecting it. We're like, we're going back to school. Like, see y'all in 2 weeks.
We thought it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, teachers are over here. Oh, now we're on Zoom. Zoom got introduced around that time, and we were just on Zoom like every week.
Technology like took off.
But more on to like how I transitioned into college was that Maryville did have like a restriction where we could do things in person, but also like communicate with people through Zoom and stuff. So my first half was all online. Like we were doing Zoom classes. We were doing like my USEM, my university seminar was all online. Mind you, a USEM has 50 plus students. So we were getting put into breakout rooms, and like we're over here like trying to make friendships and communicate with these people. So I didn't have like the most normal college starting experience. I never dormed, I was a commuter. But like it was nice to see that like now that you meet people, you're like, oh my gosh, were you also another COVID student? Like you were probably in my USEM or like all those classes. But majority of the time, like Maryville understood that we were going through this pandemic, so they tried to make it as easy as possible. And then more over to like the end of freshman year and leading into sophomore, like we were doing a lot more things hybrid. So like transitioning into doing things in person, like having events in person, and just going back to that normalized like environment that we used to have before.
Yeah. You have to be present, and you have to like go to stuff, especially with parties. Like I've definitely had my fair share of college parties, but like when I first got to college, I just assumed that if you were going to a party, you have to drink, you have to party. That is not the case. The movies, the TV shows is not what reality is. It's not what reality like, is. The first party I was supposed to go to, I was too scared because I didn't want to drink and I didn't know what people would say. Yeah. I found out that there were so many people that were not drinking and they were just there to have fun. Aisha was always super extroverted through high school. Yeah. And COVID, college, she became more introvert. And I was super introverted through high school and my first year of college. now I'm extroverted.
And that's like, she had the college dorm experience. She made like really good friendships.
I was uncomfortable so that I would be comfortable. It works.
And mine was the opposite way.
It works. You have to branch out. You have to talk.
Like, if I say anything, like, go to those events, go to all these like little activities your friends do. Like, try to make time to like develop these friendships, because like college experience, you want to make the most out of it. So this year I feel like I built like the most friendships, and that's because like I'm taking classes that are actually of my interest. So like taking this pop print class has helped me like build so many relationships, and like relationships with friends that I can like meet at school and even make plans outside of school. So I feel like taking classes that actually interest you will help you like make a lot more friendships, because you guys can share ideas and like discuss topics about like what you want to do in the future, rather than just taking all these classes that you're required to take. So I feel like this year I did actually get a lot more new friends, and I hope that these friendships do last throughout like next year in my master's program. But so far we have like a group chat and it's like going really good. So I would say like my tip is to like branch out, go to events in college, and just be outgoing. Although like you may feel like you're not like fitting in with everyone, like just know that there's someone else out there that's also like feeling the same way as you, wanting to find these connections, wanting to do like all the stuff throughout college, like have a true college experience. So like going to events, like even just sitting next to someone in class. Or do you have any recommendations?
I mean, coming from someone who used to be very introverted, there are other introverts out there. So your interests and the way you act, someone else is also going to be in your same class, your same grade, your same university. So don't be afraid if you're too nervous or too scared to step out of your comfort zone, because someone else is in the same exact boat.
So that is it for this podcast about our college and dorm experience. Tune into our next episode where we will be playing We're Not Really Strangers.